Pretty cool. I just caught that pileated woodpecker up there in that tree calling out this morning. So, haven't been with you guys in a while, and hope everybody had a good Christmas. I haven't really been able to devote a day down here to working because of the Christmas holiday and stuff, just piecemealing stuff together and doing what I can. But today is the first day I'll be able to actually put in a day's work down here and kind of get a good plan together. What we're gonna try to do today is, this is my last day off before I go back to work for a few days, and then I have quite a few days off after that. So I'm hoping for next week, when I have quite a few days off, to be able to actually get the motor back together. Hopefully entirely, but not sure. So today we're gonna prep the cases and get all the stuff done so that when I actually put the motor back together, it goes together a lot smoother. Like we're gonna put the water pump in today. Here is the cases as they are now. So while I've been gone over the holiday break, spent a lot of days down here just doing what I could in between family time, getting everything cleaned, completely disassembled, and everything ready to get put back together. So here's the case, and we're gonna get the bearings back in here today. These are the old bearings, and right now I have the new bearings freezing in there, and I put those in there last night.
Yesterday.
It's the night before I returned to you guys and got everything set up here. And what we did with the bearings was marked them all out in baggies. So when I go to, I'm gonna put these all in the freezer tonight, and when I grab them out of their baggie, because you only want to grab out the bearing that you want for the hole that it's going in, so that obviously the other ones don't warm up if you take all of them out. But they're all marked, so when it comes time to put these in tomorrow, there's not gonna be any confusion about, is it fully seated, mark side in, mark side out, and where's it going. So hopefully you can see here, but we got like the gear drum right, seal side out, fully seat, gear drum left, mark side in, fully seat. And they're all marked like that. So counter shaft right, seal side out, fully seat. Sometimes these bearings in different bikes, you have to insert them to a certain depth. Luckily, in the case of the 2017, they all get fully seated. And here's the crank, that's the crank left and the crank right bearing. So they're all gonna get put in the freezer tonight, and we'll grab those out in the morning. Here's all the bearings we're gonna be putting in tomorrow, all in bags with their tops open, so that over the night tonight, that cold air can get in there and freeze these up and make installing them really easy. So we're gonna get these cases baked in the oven upstairs, put that thing to like 400 degrees, and those bearings should drop right into their recesses. One thing I did notice upon taking the motor apart was this is the oil supply pump, and it does have a spec for the thickness of that clearance in between there. However, before I even got a chance to measure that, I noticed a lot of pitting and scoring on the oil pump. So here's the rotor. You could see it must have got some type of metal in there and really chewed it up. So this whole thing comes as a set, and it's about 30 bucks. So I am still waiting on that from Rocky Mountain to come in. So hopefully it gets here before next week, because I'm not gonna be able to put these case halves together until that oil pump goes. So the oil pump, actually that's the scavenge pump. There's where the oil supply pump is. So we're gonna get the bearings back in here today. Gonna put the water pump in and the alternator back on, and kind of do all the hard stuff, so that next week we can just assemble the pieces back together and get the engine as a package back together. I'm getting ready to bring the case halves that are in the ovens upstairs down here, and everything's laid out ahead of time so that when the case does come down here, since it's a time critical evolution, I'm not fumbling around with instructions or trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do or walking across the shop for a tool. Everything I think I'm going to need is here. So I've already reviewed the instructions for the left side crank, driving a new crankshaft until it's fully seated, and the little note here, drive in new bearing squarely with the mark side facing up. However, this is the old bearing and it does not have a mark side. it has marking on the outer race on the outside. But I believe that this is not a thrust bearing. The thrust bearing is actually that one for the right side. But we have everything laid out that I think I'm going to need. So this is a seal driver, and I've already kind of sized it for what I think I'm going to need, with this one being an alternate. This is a bearing race and seal driver set from OTC, and it's nice having that. These are how I organized all the bearings coming out of the engine. So make a little post-it note for where each one came from, so balancer right, and then I also made note of which seal face which side was in and out whenever I took it out. But we got all the hammers I think I'm going to need in case I have to hit anything. I had this little piece of urethane or UHMW that I can hit with. Got a brass drift and a couple of UHMW drifts in case I might have to pry anything. I got a screwdriver, and then of course a machinist scribe. Lubrication in case something happens and we want to get it in there, or also since the bearings are going to come out of the freezer, they're going to begin to condense right away as soon as it gets into this air. So I have the WD on standby to apply to the bearing as soon as it's in there, so that we can get rid of any water that may condense or come onto the bearing. They're in the oven upstairs, heating up to 400 degrees now, but in case we do have to apply any more heat, we got the propane torch ready to go. And since they're going to be 400 degrees, I don't want to put them on this countertop because this has polyurethane on it, and that could potentially melt onto the gasket surface and mess that up. So these bare 4x4 blocks is what we're going to actually place the case half on, and we're going to grab the bearing out of the freezer here as soon as the case gets down here, and I put those in there last night, and they should be frozen by now. So I'm gonna go upstairs, get the case halves now, and like I was saying, I'm gonna be putting this on the tripod because it's a bit of a high stress evolution. You want the bearings to fall in. You don't want to bang them in. It's a brand new bearing. So I'm gonna try to do this as quickly and accurately as I can. This thing is hot already. Should just drop right in. Went right in. Here's the balancer left and mark side in, fully seat. I don't even have to push them in. Here's the clutch left with the seal side, so it's going in with the seal side out. That guy. Sweet. We got the geared drum left, mark side in, fully seat, mark side in. Try the trans output. So we got the markings out, rim lip in. Looks like all the bearings for the left side. That went pretty good. We're gonna let this cool. Also with the rag on, it's still really hot. The left side went okay. I got it cooling down over here in this pan, and it's still pretty hot. I think 400 degrees. I probably could have got away with 350. 400 is really hot. I'm gonna go upstairs, grab the right side case, and get with that side. All right, for the main. The main's gonna get mark side facing up. Went right in. Here's the balancer right with the mark side facing in. Let's make sure this is seated. It is. This is stressful, man. Try the gear shift drum. This looks like the seal side out. Make sure that outer race is pressed in all the way. How about the counter shaft of the trans right? Actually, we'll do the clutch right since it's a little bit bigger. The seal side out. Hang that in. Crap. That wasn't good. Got it. Yeah. The bearing locked up in the race. I didn't think I was going to be able to get that in. Man. Only problem we have now is the freaking seal came out. So I think I can get that in there though. I don't think that'll be a problem. Once everything cools off, I think I can get that seal in there. Not a problem. So the seal came out. The shield from the bearing came out, but I think I can get that in there once it cools off. Pretty freaked out right now. That was crazy. We got the right side case, and when I was pressing in that the clutch input, the bearing shield came out, probably because it was so hot. But I'm gonna try to get that back in now. Now that it's cooled off, it should be able to go back in there, no problem. Perfect. The water pump is actually a really cool design that Honda changed up. It's a mechanical seal now. It's not a, it used to be just a traditional oil seal for the oil side, and then they had one for the water side. And now they've gone to mechanical seal design, which is a lot better. So there's a special way to press this in. We have to go down to a certain depth with the oil seal, and then I'm gonna have to arrange some sockets together or some kind of deal to only press on this surface of the mechanical seal to get that buried into the bore where the water pump goes. So I'm gonna work on that now. Got the water pump in, and I didn't have this special tool that Honda needs you to make, so I basically just made it. I made one out of the old bearing, and all it allows you to do is to underneath the impeller to press that mechanical seal onto the shaft, and I supported this backside with a socket, so something you can easily make at home. I just measured the dimensions that I need and made sure that I didn't crush anything. The head's all set with the valves being put back into it and the new valve seals. So everything looks pretty good, and we'll pack that away, get it ready for. I don't really have much else time today, so I'm probably just gonna organize some of this stuff and get it set up for whenever I can get back down here to assemble the cases together.